player, just an all-around player. But I tell you, between Lewis Raymond and Sherrod Arnold, and then the third person, William Smith, we were just friends from third grade. So we were around each other forever. And so to grow together and, we know each other and we end up at the same school and we end up playing together. It was just an added bonus because we have been together since second, third grade. And so when you got Lewis, I'm telling you, when you got Lewis Raymond and Sherrod Arnold playing defense, it's going to be pretty hard for you to do anything. So, and then I'm lurking at the half court. And so Herbie, Mr. Brown had a certain way that he taught us and trained us. And so you're going to be in trouble trying to get that ball up. And so that's what happened with the Westinghouse game, the city championship, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. But we just had a talented group of guys from around that area.
Wow. You want to ask that question, Bob?
Yeah, there you go. Darius, somebody, Hoop Hype asked the question. He said, in 1978, you was named the Parade Magazine All-American. How did that make you feel? Do you remember any of the other players that made it that year?
Yes, sir. I was, I believe, second team, and Mark Aguirre was third team.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, I was second team All-American. He was third team. But he's the one that stands out for me. I don't know. I'm just not that big on especially recognition and when I accomplish something, but of course, you always got the individual names, but I certainly couldn't have done anything with the players that I just named. Starting with, again, at center, we had Steve Pyham. And Steve Pyham.
Pyham
wasn't no joke. Go all the way back to his older brother, the Skylab. The Skylab and playing with him in the summers. But we were just fortunate to have the group that we had because Steve, Pyham, me, and everybody fit in their role and they had no problem with their role. And so anything go up on the board, he's going to go up there to get it. We had Bobby. Bobby was a forward and sometimes played center, Bobby McHatton.
Mm-hmm.
And we had Keenan Benton, going towards that city championship. But back to the veterans, man, when you had Marty Murray, Vincent Robinson, Larry Williams, Norm Perry, Herman Hoskins. I mean, we had a team, and that year we think we were 31-1. Mount Carmel Mount Carmel beat them before I became a part of the varsity. So Mount Carmel that year, 74-75, was the only team that beat us that year. And they beat them, I think, in like a so-called a Christmas tournament. And so Mount Carmel won that one game, and we were 31-1 that year. But we were just loaded with players, and in terms of how Coach Brown, brought his team along, and it was such a good teaching of a group of fellows that he prepared very well, and so that's how we were able to win that state championship and also the city championship at 76, 77.
Yeah.
Wow. So you played with Marty. So Marty, he was a bad boy on the baseball field too, right?
Yes, sir. Believe it or not, baseball was actually my most talented sport. Now, very strange. I did not play for high school. And the coach was Zuccali. And I don't know, for some strange reason, I just didn't make the baseball. I could have made the team, but what he actually, I played any position, including catching. All right.
Mm-hmm.
These same people. William Smith was a good pitcher, and I used to catch for him. Now, I used to average a home run a game in Pony League and Little League. Man, I hit that ball. And, a lot of times I come up to coaches like, get back. I always going for a home run. And when I hit it, I'm either going to strike out or I'm going to knock it over your head. And I did that so much. So the manager would be like, get back, get back. But back to your point, I did not play baseball in high school, and I should have because I was really more talented in baseball than basketball, and I played football or football. And just to seem to have that chemistry with Coach Collins, which I would have loved to have played baseball.
Wow. Wow, those are good questions they got to go about.
Right. I want to. We go hit.
Yeah.
Let's hit about a couple of those questions. We got one that they asked you. What made you pick Loyola, and what other schools was recruiting you?
That's a very good question, and actually, it's a whole story behind that. I really didn't choose Loyola. First school I visited was Michigan. Michigan flew me in, and I was pretty set with Michigan because, you know, coming from the great Mo Cheeks, Chcago is so deep with players, but coming from a team where Mo Cheeks had won a championship at Michigan, and I really liked Michigan, and Coach Johnny Orr was there at that time, so I visited with him.
Wait. You said Mo Cheeks. I thought Mo Cheeks went to Texas.
I'm sorry, I did say
You
Mo
talking about
Cheeks.
Ricky? Is Ricky
Green?
Ricky Green. Yeah, Ricky
Yeah,
Green.
but you know, coming from that school, and Ricky Green had been in Michigan, and a couple of I can't think of who else came from his school, his high school, but he had a couple of players that came from that school, and I was really, really excited about Michigan. Then I visited Marquette, and so I was thinking about Marquette. Um, be very honest, I had letters from all of your major schools, UCLA. Now, the one school that I wanted to choose was Indiana.
Bobby Knight?
I wanted to go to Indiana. That's where I really wanted to go.
Oh.
But my coach, Herb Brown, he said, no, Darius, you and Bobby Knight, because I got a strong personality myself. But I love the way Bobby Knight coached because he coached a lot like Herb Brown. And, I love the fact that he didn't, Herbie, he coached us in a way I couldn't stand zones. And I just felt that if you were a man and you were playing real ball, let's ball out.
That's right.
And Marcus, you know.
Yeah.
You pick out, especially when you playing a school, first thing you say is, oh, they got such and such. You're going to fall out that night. It's me, you. And so Bobby Knight had that type of atmosphere himself. And, so I was really wanting to go to Indiana. I had a little talk with my coach, and he's like, I just don't think this would be a good match because y'all gonna clash, So I kind of put Indiana, out of my choice. And so, like I said, then visiting Michigan and talking and visiting Marquette, and then I finally was thinking about going to Minnesota. And so I visited Minnesota, and Trent Tucker was there, and so we were on campus together. And I was like, "Well, Trent, I think I'm gonna see you here, because I enjoyed the city of Minnesota, and so I really thought about signing with Minnesota. So those are the schools that I was considering and I was looking at, but I can't remember clearly. But either I was playing in a summer tournament or some kind of tournament, or I was at a game. And before I chose Loyola, DePaul's coach, assistant coach, Joey Meyer, we were in some gym together. It was some game. Either I played or we were there and somebody else played. And I remember he actually gave me a ride home. And he was talking to me. He's like, man, we just signed. We got Mark McGuire. We got Terry Bradshaw. We got Jimmy. I can't think of Jimmy's last name.
Yeah, I can't either. No, I can't either.
Yeah,
That was
it'll come to me. But we have Jimmy and we have Whitney Houston's brother, half brother.
yep. I remember him. I remember him.
But anyway, their names have come to me. But anyway, so I really thought about signing with DePaul because he was like, Darius, we would love to have you, and you know, we're pretty set, you know, and so I said, wow, you know, I really didn't have DePaul on my list at first. But I said, man, maybe I'll stay here at DePaul. So it was so late into June and or at the beginning of the month of June, but it was late for signing. And so schools had begun to fill their roster that they needed, the people that they needed. And so one of my last choices was, and thinking of DePaul, that didn't work out because Joey Meyer, in my opinion, he said something that kind of eliminated himself. He was like, look, we already got our starting five. I looked over at him, I'm like, shit, well, hell, based on what? We ain't been on the court yet. How you gonna tell me we can You know, hell, I'm second team All-American. Marvin Wyatt's third team All-American. Hell, let me get on the court and battle. I love Chcago because it's so competitive, you know. Like, man, I beat Mark off the court, you know. That was my posture, you know. So that's Chcago posture, you know. Wait a minute. So I ended up eliminating DePaul, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna go down to Loyola and I'll play against you. And so I ended up signing with Loyola. Now, signing with Loyola probably wasn't the best thing for me because I probably would have had a better career in one of these other universities. Gene Sullivan he had just come to Loyola as the athletic director. Jerry Lyon was my coach. And, you know, all beautiful people, but it turned out, believe it or not, and I'll talk more about this, but Loyola just wasn't, in my opinion, probably the best choice for me. I mean, they literally they wore my career out because I had to do so much. Yeah, I had to do so much, and I was doing a little bit more than I really should have. But
right,
you know, but I enjoyed the school. I thought about leaving there after my freshman year. But you know, when you get to know people and you meet people, and I end up settling in, and then my girlfriend, who became my fiance, she was coming to Loyola, and so things like that kind of kept me there.
Okay.
But really wasn't the best choice that I really, you know, chose, but it ended up happening. So we tried to make the best of it.
So if you had to do it all over again, where would you have went?
I probably would have stuck with either Michigan or Minnesota. I probably would have, even though I wanted to go to Indiana. Indiana was my choice, and so my high school coach was like, "No, I'm not gonna let you do that because you and Bobby Knight is not gonna make it." I'm not gonna agree. You know,
Darius, that's interesting that you say that, and it still was happening when I was playing. That your parents didn't have a lot of like knowledge as far as, you know, helping you pick or choose a school. It was always the high school coach, you know, like Cox did it for us, and then Mr. Brown did it for you guys. I sometimes look back at the same thing. Like, I think I picked the wrong school, you know, because I didn't get a chance to showcase my talent the way it should have been displayed. So I think about that all the time too, just as much as you had just said and mentioned that you wish if it had to do all over again, you probably would have went to Michigan or Minnesota.
Yes,
Marcus, you would have went where?
I would have went to Syracuse.
Marcus was ready to go to Bayheim, baby.
Yeah.
We wouldn't even be on here right now if Marcus would have went over there.
No, you would have been on there, man, because I still love Chcago. You know, Chcago is always going to be my home.
Hey, Liv, you want to get that question down there from the real one, though? He asked you, He wanted us to ask this real quick. We got so many of them, but I want to ask. He said, tell us about that 56 points you had against Inglewood, Anthony James.
You know, it's interesting because I wasn't trying to hit 56 points. And that night was a very funny game because and my coach, Herb Brown, was telling other players, get in the game. You know what? Every time I came down, it seemed like I had the ball. It was almost like a layup. And so a couple of times I went down the hole, penetrated the hole, you know, and I threw the ball off to the side. Then it came back to me, and I'm underneath the basket. I'm like, I got to shoot, you know. And so it wasn't a gunning type of scoring, you know, in terms of the points. But a lot of times I was penetrating like I do, going to the hole and I dish it off, and some kind of way it come back to me. So you got to lay it up, you know. Right. And so it was just one of those games that we had a real good night. The one thing that about our high school, man, we're gonna play some defense. And so when you're stealing the ball and you're taking things away from people and you just really lobbing it back here and there, I'm in a position to make a layup. I can't get that, I can't get that up. So, but it wasn't something that I planned to do or just went out. And I was shocked when they told me, man, you scored 56. I was like, really? Wow. But it was a lot of layups. And I'm telling you, I ended up, just being in the right place at the right time and being around the basket, And so, but it wasn't a thing that I desired just to go out and score that many points, but it's how it happened.
That's interesting that you say you hit those many points, and you didn't even have a 3-pointer back then. And I'm listening to you speak about when you're close to the basket, you're shooting that. This generation is getting close to the basket. They're not shooting it. They're passing it back out to someone further away from the basket to shoot a 3-pointer, right? The game was taught different, when we were playing. It was our coaches were saying, get me a bucket the best way you can. If that's a layup, get me that layup. This generation of coaches, they don't teach that same method that, we were taught, when we were brought up in Chcago.
Well, you're exactly right. And it's kind of disappointing and nerve-wracking, because, and I say it like this, and many people say the same thing. The new layup is a 3-pointer. That's like the new layup. But like you're saying, that ball will be thrown back out for somebody to shoot it from 35 feet. Back in my day, my coach, he if you miss the shot, if you make the shot, it's okay. You missed that shot. Coach Brown pulled you out the game. Like, boy, you should have took it to the basket. You're out there shooting from that line. So yeah, the game has changed a lot, and it is what it is. I'm not going to criticize.
No, we should. It's
I still love the atmosphere, and I go to the Bulls games even to this day. But it is disheartening to see all this, just it's like it's running gun. People who are supposed to have court and rise up, and so Kobe, I really appreciate him in his game, but a lot of times I can see him rising up with the Chicago Bulls, and I'm like, oh my God, move the ball a little bit,
Right.
So the game has changed a lot. It really has changed a lot. And I would love to see, now when you got a 7-footer now, Milwaukee center, bringing the ball down and he's looking for a shot from 35, 40 feet. I don't know. The game has changed, so we would never have nobody that tall bringing the ball down as a guard. And secondly, myself and especially Louis Raymond, I wish he would try to bring a ball down 6'9", 6'10", 7 feet, trying to play guard. You're not going to have that ball that long. You're going to rip before you get down.
It's definitely entertainment. It's definitely entertainment. When we were playing, you got to get out there and really play some defense and work on moving that ball. Doing all those things that we used to do. We don't see it as much today because I'm looking at guys, like you said, bringing the ball up and just pulling it deep, from 3 point. I can understand Steph Curry, he can do that type of things, but it's some guys that think they Steph Curry and they not,
That's true.
So the game is definitely like putting others in certain situations that I don't think they're ready for, and that's the thing that makes me kind of upset, like at the game a little bit, because I'm like, everybody can't shoot a three, but the
It's a
analytics,
copycat league.
yeah, but the
right?
analytics say, a three is better than two. But Bob,
That's insane.
you mentioned something to me before, Bob, about back in the day, they were scoring more points.
Yeah, they did. They scored more points in the NBA back in the days than they do now.
That's true.
You saw that too, Darius?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
The teams were way more efficient and everything, and they weren't even shooting
threes.
Yep, and I think they're shooting like 16 to 15 more threes a game just to be able to keep up with the scoring that the guys even did back in the days that were shooting twos. So it's an atrocity. They just trying to keep the disparity in the game with the gambling. That's what I think. And I don't want to dive too much into that. I don't want that.
No, but you're exactly right. And my older brother we used to go to some of the Bulls games together. You got Bob Butterbean Love and Chet Walker, Norm Van Leer. So you had that scrappy, hard play game. Chet Walker's looking to get that ball in, and he'll get a shot somewhere around somewhere around the free throw and further in. But it's just such a chain game. You had a better better defensive game being played, better challenge to me. Versus who's gonna come down and outshoot each other today. It's just a lot of run and gun, so it's just not as exciting to me.
It's not.
When you got grit going on, and you got for lack of better expression, you got a fight going on. Somebody you're not going to score. You're not going to score. I'm going to score, but you're not going to score.
Right.
So that was our day. Who could stop somebody? So you just don't see that no more.
Somebody asked the question on here. It's been up here a while. I want to get we got so much, right, Lynn? We want to ask you. I want to ask you, how did you beat Mark? How did y'all end up beating Mark Aguirre and Phillips? But let me ask you this right quick. In 1982, you was drafted by the Clippers. Somebody asked, and what happened? Did you get a chance to play?
No, I didn't. That year, I was fourth round pick, I believe, which was the second player in the fourth round. And Craig Hodges was, I think, fifth round. Craig Hodges was playing for, I want to say, no, not Fresno.
It was one of those California schools.
Yeah, he was playing for.
He was with Tex Winter out there, and
it'll come to me also. But he was out in their area,
Long Beach.
Long Beach.
He played at Long Beach, and so they drafted him fifth round, and Paul Silas was the coach at the Clippers. And the Clippers were barely hanging on to be a part of the NBA. They were talking back then about selling the team, whether the team had the money, and whether it was going to be a team in San Diego. So they didn't have many resources. In fact, when I showed up to camp, they were using the facilities of the Navy, I believe. So it wasn't good facilities. It was just like a rim on each end of the court. It wasn't a big facility where you got, like you have baskets all around a gymnasium. So it was just really like two baskets. And so it really wasn't, in my opinion, a facility for basically pros to be trying out. So we really didn't have a good facility and a good tryout, in my opinion. But you had Craig, myself, Bill Walton, in fact, had just come back. Bill Walton had not been in the NBA. I think he was hurt or something happened where he had a couple of surgeries or something, but he made it back. And we also had Willie Scott from the West Side.
Mm-hmm.
So we got 20, 25 players or so, and so somebody's definitely got to get cut. And I did very well in the camp. I did very well in the camp, but I think there were people, I guess, of importance, and whoever is doing this talking and picking, they already knew Craig, and so that's why they drafted him, from that area. And so my junior year, I could have probably came out and did a better, been in a better position with the team if I came out my junior year, but I stayed. And I purposely I stayed, but I probably would have went more like in a first round or early second round if I came out my junior year. So I decided to stay, and I decided to get my degree, and I made that conscious decision, just to stay. But I really should have been drafted and thought I was going to be drafted by Indiana. 82 was the first year that they had like for basketball, like they have for football, the Columbine or whatever they call it. All of the seniors come in and they see you. So that was the first year they had that at the University of Illinois. And so I did very well, and my college coach was there, and he was telling everybody, he said, watch, Darius' team is going to go undefeated. Because we played about 3 to 5 games, and we did. My team did go under. We were undefeated, the only one. Everybody else lost a game. When they divided up the teams, and my team did go undefeated. So in that, I literally should have, and I thought I was going to be drafted. Usually, the team that draft you is the team wherever you are in college, they're there watching you. So I knew that Indiana was. I was like, well, probably be Indiana that drafted me because the Indiana coach was my coach in this time period. So I thought Indiana would draft me, but that didn't happen either. So it was very strange. But I'm going to back up though.
Okay.
I'm gonna, in a humble way. To be very honest with you, whatever you think of my college career, you never saw me play. I'm being very honest.
Wow.
Decent as my career was in college, I was doing so much and so many things for Loyola. And I don't say that, and I'm saying it as I'm just saying the truth. I just have to say I'm trying to be humble about it.
Right.
And so when you play at both ends of the court, for instance, I wasn't a point guard, Marcus, as you say, point guard. I wasn't a point guard. I was
but you played it.
I was a number 3 in high school.
Wow.
So we had Sherrod Arnold as number 1. We had Louis Raymond as number 2. That connection was just defensively was unbelievable. All you got to do is ask Skip Dillard and and the guards over at Westinghouse. We weren't letting them get up the court. But and so when I got to Loyola, we were having very difficulties with our guards. And I love them to death with Dan Bush, and that was really our point guard. Leroy Stampley, a phenomenal shooter from the outside. I mean, Leroy, the best way to stop him was just not let him get up off the air with the ball. It's going in. Leroy Stampley was an unbelievable shooter, as accurate as anybody in the NBA today. And so I ended up being the point guard because Dan Bush was struggling with playing that position, even though he's very fast, very good on defense, but he was struggling with the basketball and our offense. And so I was like, look, coach, my coach taught me how to play any position that is needed. Hell, I'll jump center. I'll jump center if I have to. And so So he was like, well, let's try him. Let's try Darius at the point position. And so that practice, he never looked back because I told him I could do it, and I did it. But but I say nobody really knew and really saw my career because I got smothered in being put in a position really that wasn't a position that I really should have been playing. And so my freshman year, I was very much learning how to, navigate and how to play that number one position. And so, it kind of smothered my career. And I'll put it this way: we had a scrimmage, and it's one of those scrimmages that was open, and so the school body could come see the scrimmage. And it's like a scrimmage you have before the season starts.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that point, I was playing the off guard, and I didn't know it, but somebody walked up to me and said, "Man, we were keeping your scoring." Said you scored 60 points in the first half.
Damn.
You scored like 60 or more
Whoa.
points. I was like, really? I didn't realize that, so this is just somebody out the audience coming and telling me, we got it right here. We got the stat.
Wow.
I was off guard.
Right.
But they ended up playing the point guard, so all that scoring went away, and I'm very, very careful, to get the ball across court and to navigate the team, as a point guard. I wasn't a crisp, ball handler, so I had to learn it in my own mind, in my own time. I had to learn how to play the position and I had to protect the ball. So Gene Sullivan fell so in love with me playing the point position because he would tell the assistant coach, Doug Bruno, and LaRue Martin, he would tell them, when we got him at the point guard, we only have 1 to 3 turnovers a game. So he's like, it's his position, because he don't turn the ball over. So now I'm protecting the ball, but you're taking me away from my game. And so, as well as I was blessed to play, and it was a blessing to play it, it really wasn't my position. So it took away from my real game to kind of master this game for him. And so I had a talk with him. I told him, man, I enjoy playing this position, but I'm not a point guard. We need to get a point guard in here. So every year, I begin to tell him, man, you need to get a real point guard to get Willie Scott or something. I even brought up Willie Scott's name, brought up Sherrod Arnold's name. I was like, and then finally Carl Golston was at the University of Wisconsin, and there was talk that he was going to be leaving. I'm like, man, I might be my last year, but get Carl Golston in. But you need to get a point guard in there so I can do what I can do.
That's right.
So to be honest, I really never really played my career at Loyola. Believe it or not.
I can believe it. Marcus said all the time about his own game, so he feel you with both hands, Darius.
Yeah,
he feel you with both hands.
We're very similar.
Yeah. And both of y'all are humble as ever. Because if I was y'all, I'd have had the big head. Hey, look, they said you had 30 against Mark Aguirre and them in Westinghouse?
30. I led all scores with 30.
Wow, man.
Without a three-point line.
You was as good as Mark Aguirre in high school, but then you got to college, wasn't able to show that. That'd be the difference, man, when a guy can't get those looks, man, when you get it in college. Because that's crazy.
Yeah,
he just said it, though, Bob. He just said it. He said he was playing out of position, basically, right? So if he'd have came in and played his position, though, man, we would be talking about DePaul at all, probably. We'd be talking about Loyola, doing their thing back then.
Right, and Anthony James said it. He said he was at school with y'all. The real one, he say, you should have left after your junior year because you averaged 22 a game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to make sure I touched on a couple of these questions because there's people dropping stuff and we want to let you talk though.
Yeah, get to the hoop central because they get mad, Bob, at you, boy.
But we gotta let Darius talk though, Liv. They gotta understand.
Definitely, man, definitely. But I'm just so thankful and grateful to be here, and again, when it comes to Chcago, you just, I know for myself, you got to be humble because Chcago is so deep.
Yeah.
It's so deep
Oh
with
no, I'm sorry.
legends, talent, and so many names. And Darius Clemons is, I did some things, but I'm humbled by being from this city
Mm-hmm.
and the players, including Marcus. It's just so many players
Yeah, man. So
from and
many,
out of
man.
Chicago, and one come to my mind is I love her to death is Billy Harris.
Billy.
I was fortunate to play with Billy Harris in the
Was he
first.
that good? Was he that good?
Oh man, please, we could. All right, now you have me taking off my sweater, and we could. I mean, Billy Harris was the only Billy Harris, the only player you would know like him. I mean, I
Wow.
never played with a person that Billy Harris is like this. He'll tell you what he's getting ready to do to you,
And do it.
and then do it.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
crazy.
on the court, he'll tell you, I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna cross the half court, I'm gonna bounce the ball, I'm gonna go through my legs, then I'm gonna go over to the corner, and I'm gonna score on your ass. And do it. He do it exactly the way he says. And
Man,
I'm like, is this
somebody,
real?
someone,
I'm gonna take the
someone need
ball,
to.
I'm gonna go through my legs, I'm gonna go behind my back, and I'm gonna go over to the side, I'm gonna shoot. And it's all
Wow.
Hey
net.
man, they need to do a true documentary on him, like
Yeah.
with players like yourself talking about him. Because I never got the chance to see him, but my father used to talk about him like he was Jordan before Jordan, and all this stuff. He was
Right.
like, man, that man was the best basketball player he ever saw too. My dad was talking about him, and my uncles, because
Everybody talk about him,
they
Liv.
grew up. So my uncles and them grew up on 41st, right there in Robert Taylor's. So they got a chance to see him, and Y2C and all those guys, hoop back in the day. And I'm like, man, it's some hoopers came from that Stateway Garden all the way up to 55th.
That's
There's nothing but hoopers that came in that
right.
area and that middle of Chicago, man. And I got a chance to witness some of that, when I was a little shorty. So yeah, you right on that, man, about Billy Harris. I heard all those stories.
Oh, that's my man. I mean, we could have a whole show on Billy Harris alone.
What,
And it
what
was
was
just
Arthur Sybil's with him too? Was that Arthur Sybil's was with him too?
yes, that he surely was, and I didn't get a chance to play with him or anything, but I was blessed to play with Billy every summer. The one thing Chicago, that's one of the things that's missing in Chicago. Every summer, pro players would actually play in that summer league. We would go on the west side.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, it was at Malcolm X, but there was another gym over on the west side that we all played. And just to see the talent that would come there. Mickey Johnson played there. A number of the Bulls would always play in that summer tournament. So and then to have Isaiah coming along. Now here's this little young high schooler, and you can see that what his future is going to look like because he's holding his own as a junior. Because I was a senior, he's a year behind me, and so
Wow.
Isaiah is playing in the pro leagues, and he's a junior. And so, just to see him grow and to see the talent that he shown during that time, and so we were all in the gym together every summer, and so it was just a phenomenon. And I didn't play every summer. Most of them did play every summer, but to be very honest with you, a lot of times I would like to take my summers off and just have it to myself.
Mm.
So I didn't play every summer, but those summers that I did play, I really enjoyed it. And I did get a chance to play with Billy Harris, which was just so
Billy
humbling
the Kid.
to be
Billy
with
the Kid.
talent, you know. And Mickey Johnson, we used to have talks with Mickey Johnson, and Mickey Johnson was like, "Man, you need to be on the board." I'm like, "Mickey, I'm here. However I need to do it, let's get it done." So
Mm.
Mickey really liked my game and really liked playing with me in the summers, and I love playing with him. So Chicago was something different because you had that talent. You had the Bulls here, and you had other NBA players that were from Chicago would come back in the summer, and I gotta say, Sherrod Arnold again. That's where he really got known. You know, Sherrod Arnold was playing in the summer, and I think one or two times he came down and just bam slammed the ball on somebody, and it was Sherrod Arnold after that. You know, so he already had a defensive game, but I know he came down. I believe the tournament was at IIT. And I know he slammed the ball a couple of times on somebody. You know, Sherrod Arnold was barely 6 feet. Rose up on somebody and slammed it, and that's really where he was made known. You know, that summer. So yes, so much talent. But somebody was asking, I think something about Ronnie Lester. Second to Billy Harris is Ronnie Lester for me.
Okay. So that's your top. So that's your top five. Can you name your top five?
I be honest with you, Marcus. It's hard for me to name a five because we have who we have during my time and before me, but you all are behind me, you know. So I'm gonna bring up your name, you know. I'm gonna bring up Billy Harris' name. So everybody has the way they consider who's special and what place they should be in their life, but Chcago is so deep. That's a hard one for me.
That is, you're right.
That's hard.
I like your stance
I
on that.
would start with Billy Harris. Now, if I had to choose a top five or whatever, Billy Harris is going to be there.
Number one, yes,
going to be there.
Wow, I wish we could have saw him.
Hey, I tell you, Billy was no joke. When I tell you Billy Harris was no joke, I've never seen a person tell you on the court while he's playing. But see, that's Chcago. Because we're gonna talk to each other. We're gonna talk trash.
Yeah.
What was his natural position though?
Billy Harris?
Yeah.
He's a point guard.
Point guard.
He's a point guard.
Wow.
I tell you, he was in the Bulls camp, and Dick Motta, my understanding, I wasn't there. Dick Motta put his best defensive player on Billy Harris. Jerry Sloan. Billy Harris was cussing him out coming down the court, was getting past and backing up. He backed up. Come on, MF. Come on. This is your best, Dick Motta. He look over to Dick Motta on the side. This is your best. Then he go past it.
Oh wow!
Tell him what he's about to do. I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna dribble a couple of dribbles. I'm gonna go over to the right corner and I'm gonna score on your ass.
Damn!
And he go do it.
That's crazy.
He go do it.
Dick Motta couldn't take the talk, right? My understanding, Dick Motta couldn't take the talk, the trash talk, and you know, to show off Jerry Sloan like that, and then to have Norm Van Leer say he's the best MFing guard I ever seen. So Norm Van Leer is saying that. Oh my God! You know, so Dick Motta couldn't take his personality.
That Dick Motta had the same issue with Mark in Dallas, though, right? That was Dick Motta in Dallas when Mark left Dallas. He just had a problem with Chcago guys. Period, man.
Well, see, you know, we never really talk about Chcago. Chcago is very unique. Again, it's a unique city, and it's so deep. And so, whenever we get to subjects like this, I always tell people that you got to research and you got to understand the NBA was comprised of mainly New York players and LA players. And it was a while before Chicago players was accepted and bust through that whatever that was. It wasn't that many Chicago players coming out until Cappy Russell, Cassie Russell. Cassie Russell broke through in the 60s and really started a lot of the players, or the beginning of the players coming out of Chicago. So Cassie Russell made it through, and he had one or two others, but they weren't.
Parker after that.
Yes, and so you didn't have many players coming out of Chicago,
right?
And so naturally, finally get to the mid 60s and, beginning of the 70s, and we start kind of pouring through. But I really wanted and really wish I had a chance to talk to Michael Jordan. I really wish I could meet him and talk to him, because that whole situation with Isaiah is one of the most beautiful people I ever met in my life. He has a very beautiful heart.
Mm-hmm.
And so that whole situation, and I just wanted to explain from a Chcago, because I know from a Chcago point of view, Chcago is very deep when it comes to competition, right?
Right, right.
All the way back to the gangsterism of Al Capone and the gangs and the liquor, and this was known to be a gangster city.
Yeah, it is.
So Chcago is not a joke, even when it comes to whatever reputation LA has, whatever reputation New York has, Chcago is Chcago. And it has its own form and its own representation of people that comes out of here. So when you have a Michael Jordan who's upset because Isaiah didn't shake his hand, let's look at Chcago. Again, going back to childhood, we always played baseball, softball, 16-inch softball, basketball, hockey in the winter. After each game, we're trash talking the whole game, and also we may have a fight after the game.
Easily.
That's Chcago. We'll fight each other physically, and then a lot of the players, I didn't drink, but a lot of players go get some beer, go get something.
Right after that, yeah.
After we fight. Yeah. So for Isaiah to be with Detroit, and they're known as the bad boys, you got Isaiah over here. Ultimately, Isaiah and Mark Aguirre, West Side. Yeah, so I remember playing a game with Skip Dillard at DePaul, and we were at DePaul, and they beat us. And Skip jumped up and, now, do you want to, if y'all wanted to throw down, we can throw down. I'm like, Skip, we in college, man. We got people in the audience. Nobody gonna throw no fists, Now we were at Loyola. We were at Weston House, or we were at Phillips. We may go ahead and take you up on that. But getting back to Michael Jordan and being upset because Isaiah didn't shake his hand. In Chcago, man, we didn't want to shake nobody's hands after being beat. We'll see you tomorrow. Come back on the court,
Yeah.
And so I would really like to explain that piece. Not that Isaiah wasn't capable or Mark wasn't capable, but they didn't bring that point out. Chcago is that type of city.
And Michael Jordan knows that, right?
I don't know that he knows. He's from the South. He's from the Carolinas.
Right. Yeah,
Chcago is a real gangster city. So we, again, at the softball games, baseball games, basketball games, sometimes we fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't mean nothing personal. Don't mean that we want to kill you that day, but we may want to just, we just may want to touch up a little bit, and you know what I'm saying? We can go get a drink together. We can go get a hot dog together, and we can talk about it. Man, I kicked you behind.
Right.
But hey, we got to get
that
fight out first.
No, when you tried to hit me in my jaw, I weaved, I moved, I came back with this. I mean, that's Chcago. So I really wanted to find a way to bring that point out to Isaiah that, when you didn't shake his hand, you should just let him know, man, that's how we were Southside, West Side. We didn't want to shake y'all hand.
Right. After y'all beat us. Right.
Yeah. Trash talk time. And so it wasn't personal, and I really wanted to see if I could have a conversation just to bring that point out, that's just the Chcago way, So I don't know.
Hey, let me add to that, though, Darius. So I think what happened was Michael and them shook their hand the year before that after they beat them. And he was piggybacking off of the fact that, man, we was man enough to shake y'all hand after y'all whooped our ass all them years.
Right.
Now y'all take a loss. So I understand what you're saying. So yeah, it's deeply rooted. It's deeply rooted, man. What about Eddie Hughes? What you know about Eddie Hughes?
Well, very talented player naturally on the west side, very quiet. Eddie was in camp with myself also. He was drafted, I don't know, Eddie must have been drafted maybe six. It was after the fifth round. So he must have been drafted between 6, 7, and 8. Paul Silas loved Eddie Hughes in San Diego. I got cut before Eddie Hughes, and so they kind of fell in love with his game. He lasted longer than me with San Diego, and naturally Craig Hodges made the team. But they both had good camps. Eddie had a good camp. I just didn't think San Diego had the resources to be proper that year. They didn't have the resources, but naturally Eddie Hughes, very talented, and very deserving. And all of us were, in my opinion, good enough to make a team somewhere.
Right.
Just didn't happen. So, but Eddie was, I agree with you, he was very talented.
Yeah, he went to Denver. Yeah, and he played for Denver Nuggets.
What did John say? Did you go overseas? Was going overseas popular back then in the 80s?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I had an invitation at one point to the Philippines, and I did not go. And I was trying to get some assistance from my college coaches, and after really going to the draft, being drafted and going to San Diego, kind of lost contact with the coaches. But there was a invitation that I understand that was coming from the Philippines, but I never really tied that down and never went over. And so after things didn't work out with San Diego, when I came back, I had one last shot with the Chcago Bulls, and Atlanta sent me an invitation. And so I think that was '84, the year that Michael was getting ready to come out. I did not take that invitation to Atlanta because I was like, look, I don't want to just be a practice player. I'm not just coming down there to, if you're serious, write up some kind of contract, I'll come down there. But
wow.
I gave it a shot with the Chcago Bulls and, did very well. But we had Tracy Tracy was from Notre Dame. So you had Orlando Warridge and Tracy. Can't think of Tracy's last.
Was he a Chicago dude?
No, they were from Indiana. They were from Notre Dame.
Oh, Notre Dame, right? I remember Orlando and them. Tracy, I'm trying to think of Tracy.
Yeah. So Orlando and Tracy. I can't think it won't come to me, but Tracy was Ronnie Lesser was in that camp, and so did very well in that Chicago camp. Reggie Diaz was sitting out, and one Friday night we were playing in the stadium, and Reggie Diaz was sitting out, and so that Friday night I was getting ready to rush out to my family, and they were like, "Coach, need to see you." But Reggie had to sign by that night. Had he not signed that night, I would have been a part of the Bulls. And Saturday we play in New York in Chicago, and we were playing New York in New York on Saturday. And so I'm running out, getting ready to try to meet my family, and they were like, "Coach, need to talk to you." So I got cut that night.
Wow.
Yeah, I got cut that night. Reggie Diaz signed that night because he wouldn't have been a part of the Bulls, and I would have made the team.
So after that, you just went right into the workforce.
Yes. Actually, got a job with Commonwealth Edison. Very good company.
Okay.
Became a lineman with Commonwealth Edison, and also that year I joined the Nation of Islam, and so being very honored to meet Minister Farrakhan and become a part of the Nation of Islam, I was done with sports. I was like, oh, this is it. I'm going to use whatever my athletics done for me. I'm going to use that in, going out and try to help Mr. Farrakhan in this work and talk to our people.
Wow.
So I was pretty much done with sports at that point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Hey, Darius, did you get kind of like not making it to the league? Because I know Lib asked, we asked a couple other guys. It's like when you didn't make it, did you get kind of like, damn? Was you kind of like, damn?
No, not really.
Okay.
Because I enjoyed myself in my career on the college level.
Okay.
And so I had no no kind of negativity or no kind of wow, they did me wrong or anything like that. I knew I should have been in NBA. Many players that I played against, for instance, Chcago was drafted by New York, and I did very well against Minnesota team. In fact, as I said earlier, my career kind of got smothered, with starting out with this point guard. I was a point guard for Loyola my freshman year, bringing the ball down. Then when I go to the other end, I had to guard Kevin McHale, because I was like one of the best defensive players on the team. And so whoever the toughest, player was, I would always be the person to cover him. And so at some point, I really had to cover Kevin McHale. Now, here I am 6'3", and Kevin McHale was like 6'10", 6'11", But I knew how to guard him. I was taught very well by my high school coach, and I saw that Kevin McHale didn't appear to be able to jump probably 2 or 3 inches off the floor. So I would always put my body and my elbow on him and push him away from the basket, and try to, so I figured out a way to guard him, is the point I'm making. And so, it just takes a toll on you when you got to bring the ball up the court, then you got to go on the other end and play the rough guy,
buddy,
and make up the what's missing on the other end. So it really kind of takes a toll on your career.
Man, Darius, I'm just listening to you, man. I wish I had someone like you to give that sound advice. What happened? Do you think guys that came before didn't reach out to a lot of the kids that was coming under them to give them that sound advice? Because I'm listening to you, man, and I would have loved to pick your brain on things when I was on my way, to going to college or picking a high school team or whatever it may be, because you were the OG, so we didn't get an opportunity to find out where you guys were playing, or when you guys came back from college, that you say you like to chill, you didn't want to be, you wanted to have your summers, but a lot of us, inner city kids, we needed that, and a lot of us didn't get that, from our guys that was a little bit older than us.
Yes, sir.
So my point is, I'm saying somebody somewhere, I think dropped the ball. Because I remember meeting John B. McClendon, and he used to talk to me, a lot, but he didn't get along with my high school coach. So a lot of people didn't want to step on no toes, so they kind of let it be. No, you Cox guy, and instead of saying, no, I'm going to help this young man because that's what's in my heart, to help him, But they didn't want to touch a lot of those King guys, man, and I'm zoned for Phillips High School,
Wow.
So Cox found a way to get around that,
Right.
So, but
we forgive you, Marcus. we forgive you. We ain't holding out against you, bro.
But David, but my point is, I'm wondering why we don't have that, and we still don't. have that where guys come back and say, you know what,
mentor,
yeah, I wanna mentor you, Marcus, or I want to mentor you, Derrick Rose, I want to mentor you, Isaiah Thomas, whoever it may be, and just cuff them and put them up under their wings, and say, you know what, I got this young fella.
Yes, sir.
Why you think that didn't happen as much?
Well, I don't know that I have the direct answer to that.
Right.
Because again, Chcago is somewhat different in that it's a rivalry type of city. And going all the way back to me being a short one, shorty under people like Billy Harris and all of those before me. If you were blessed, and what was one of the things was a blessing was the summer leagues that we played.
Mm-hmm.
That would be because I would eventually, Mickey Johnson, I could pick his brain.
Mm-hmm.
I could talk to him, and we were on the court with pro players. And so that mentorship was there. At that time, you could talk to people. But like you're saying, that wasn't, and you may or may not have somebody to reach back or reach out to you personally.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of my questions, like I would talk to Billy in the summer, and I was fortunate to play with him on the A. Saperstein team. And so, but you're right. I don't know that there was any structure set up.
Right.
That players could really talk and get that sound advice. And again, Chcago, the mentality of Chcago is so competitive. It's so competitive.
Yes.
So a lot of times, you're playing, and again, I got to bring up, a lot of times you have fist fight after a softball game, basketball game, and then people after they little fist fight, they start drinking a little beer together or whatever.
No.
So,
that's facts.
Yeah. But that type of organization, I don't think was there. And you may be fortunate to talk to someone that may be in your arm distance,
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't anything really set up. But why that is, I don't know. But again, you always have the opportunity of people that you can touch.
Yeah. I just think you had, because that 39th Street, a lot of hoopers came out of there, just like you said,
Yes,
Billy Harris. So you can touch those guys. I'm on the low 22nd Street. It wasn't a whole lot of the basketball players. I mean, I had my family, but I didn't have a whole lot of basketball tradition that you encountered growing up on 39th. But I still got that opportunity to make it, because I did, have, fellow teammates, Tracy Dildy, those type of guys, Anthony Manuel over there at Crane High School when I was at Crane. So I had an opportunity to talk to those guys because they were, older than me. But to see, Chcago where it's at now, and guys leaving and transferring to different states because the game has changed. Everybody wants to go play prep, basketball and play with the shoe companies and whatnot. It wasn't like that, when we were growing up. It's really, really different now, man. And kids are now getting paid. So that's what I'm talking about when I say mentoring now, because a lot of money is being thrown, and a lot of times these kids don't have the right advice on how to go about making that money last very long for them.
Yes, sir. Well, I definitely hear you, and I agree with what you're saying. But it definitely could have been a little bit more organized. And I was blessed because my high school coach Herb Brown played actually at Tennessee State under John B. McClendon. And so McClendon would come to our high school once a year and run our practice. And I'm telling you, oh my God.
How was it?
Oh, that was an intense practice, man. I was glad to see him, but not glad to see him because he ran you. He covered everything from.
Because he was the master of the fast break, right?
I'm not sure. I don't know if I heard that anywhere. I'm not sure about that. But oh my God, what a blessing to just be in the gym with him.
Mm-hmm.
And again, my high school coach would invite him once a year to run his practice for him. And Mr. Brown would sit up in the audience and kind of, just kind of analyze us and what was needed and, where we were going in terms of growing in the game. And so, but all that to say, we had that type of mentorship. There was a connection, from Herb Brown. But yeah, that was really nothing set up that I knew but you always could touch, a Mickey Johnson, some of the Bulls, and you can always get something from some of the players, like ourselves, Marcus, where who was just before you. And so again, it was always a blessing because I could sit and I can kind of pick Billy Harris' brain and walk with him, go back to the car, and once we get past him talking his trash, Billy gonna tell you who he is. He gonna tell you who you are, which you weren't much to him. So, I mean, I love being around Billy, and just to be able to pick his brain because he was a person that was like before his time, or he was caught in time, because if there was ever somebody that should have been in the NBA from Chcago, it was Billy Harris,
Right.
And just to see the talent in this man. But
wow.
He was from Chcago, so he's gonna talk that talk. I mean, he's gonna cuss you out on the court. He's gonna tell you what he's gonna do to you, and he's gonna do it.
Wow.
And so, and then there's players that we did not get a chance to see and talk to. Johnny Mundane from the West Side. Money. I didn't get a chance to talk to him or really see him at all, but I heard everything about him.
Right.
And you're searching to try to find him, and so.
Lamar Mundane.
Yeah, Johnny Mundane, man.
Lamar, that's it. Lamar.
He crossed the half court and rise up. That's where it came from. Money is going in,
Wow.
So, I mean, Chcago is so rich, so deep, and when you start talking and you talk about the best and you on the list, I'm like, wow, that list is so long, it's so deep. And so it's just a blessing to be a part of some of the names, but that's a list that I'm telling you, just scroll and roll forever.
Wow.
This is a unique city. This is a very unique city.
Yeah, it is. So, I always wanted to know, and me and Bob joke about this a lot when people say, "Man, you from Chcago." They don't say just Chcago. They gotta throw exactly where they from. Man, I'm from the South Side. Man, I'm from the West Side.
That's right. That's right.
And where do you think that started? Like, man, because it was just like it was just born into me, like I automatically just claim South Side, and and I'm like, but I had family on the West Side, too. So it was kind of hard for me to just, say one side, but and at the end I ended up playing on the South Side at King High School, but and I'm from the South Side, the low end. So I'm like, where did that come from, man? Because me and Bob would laugh at that.
Where did the great divide come from, Liv?
Yeah. Where did that come from, man? Is that is that the gangster stuff too?
Well, I was just getting ready to say, and I was just getting ready to offer. It goes back so far, and so when you thank you. When you go back to Al Capone and what territory he ran, so
right.
I mean, it goes that deep where Southside, this was Al Capone's territory. He started as a soup line. He started Jewtown. But we would go do our shopping down there in Roosevelt, right near Halsted, and we would go down there, man, to get a whole sausage and get a hot dog and
pork chop.
And that started actually as a soup line. that he Al created for the poor, and so he would definitely help a lot of the black families in that area and feed them. And so you had that rivalry of, when they were dealing with their liquor, hey, this is the South Side. Don't come over here in this territory. And then you had Chcago Heights, which people don't even talk about. But yeah, Chcago Heights had its people in Chcago Heights. Then you had the West Side. So, and you had a few people on the North Side. So I think that territory goes as far back as then, that you got to stay out of this area. This is Al's area. This is this one's area. So I think it goes back as deep as that, and so it carried over to sports. I'm from the South Side, I'm from the West Side, and to this day, you hear people on the radio calling into the radio show, South Side, West Side. So it's just one of those deep things that it is unique Chcago,
Yeah.
Hey, look, Chcago people swear it ain't no north side or east side. Y'all ain't gonna mention us at all, huh?
Well, when people say east side, that's really south side. That's really
right.
It's including the east, because we got the lake over here, and so you're still gonna have the split at Madison, where you're gonna deal with north side or south side. Because when you go east, you're really talking south side, so it's southeast, but it's still south side. So
you're right.
That's just how it's going to be mentioned.
So before we get up out of here, though, I want to know, like, what kind of advice, since we was talking about being a role model or giving some sound advice to some up and coming athlete, what kind of advice would you give an athlete just in this era, basically in the NIL, with the NIL going and picking the right school? But then we can't even really say that because they transfer and putting their name right in the transfer portal. So what kind of advice would you give some youngster that's want to learn how to play the game of basketball?
Well, when you're tying it into looking for schools and going further into college, the coaches are very key and important, as you know, there. And the guidance has really got to come from their coaches and kind of placing them and talking to them about, their game and emphasizing the academics and making sure they're sound and doing the things they need to do to go to the right schools for them. That was one of the things, if I must say, that was missing even with myself, because my coach loved me, but to this day I wanted to play for Indiana. I wanted to play for Bobby Knight, and so he was like, "No, shut that down." And so I took that advice, and but I was kind of blanking that I was now trying to figure out, okay, well, where am I going to go to school? So Marquette, Minnesota, Michigan, I had letters from Florida. I had letters from UCLA, and I didn't even look that way. But so when you got letters from all over the country, the coach is really, in my opinion, he or she is the key to giving you some good, sound advice and making sure he or she meets with whatever school that's interested and knowing you as a player. And so, as you know, Mark, it's a game, and everything has changed. So since we were there, and so I coached, and I was blessed to kind of help Coach Tracy Dildy at Chicago State. So spent some volunteer time with him.
Okay.
And, so I got a chance to kind of see how things were going, even at that point in time. When he was coaching at Chicago State, and I was learning a lot there, and I was like, this is different because, you may or may not have more than 1 year on the team, because now, and Mark, as you know, playing in college. So now some of these players are making good money, especially on the female side. They're making $1 million in college. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so Angel Reese did very well as a player in college.
Yeah.
So I wish we had those
I
opportunities.
know, right? I know.
Oh man,
I'm
they owe
making
y'all
calls.
retro.
Hey Marcus, you just said the key. Marcus, I'm making calls like, can we sit down with somebody and talk about some compensation? You
That's
They
know,
owe
right.
y'all
you
retro,
want in
man.
on this, you know, but I
Man.
know you got a chance to make some dollars off of me, you
That's
know.
Yes,
right.
they
That's
did.
right.
Perhaps we
They
need to
did.
come back to the table and talk about something here.
I think if we can get a bunch of guys collectively to do that, I think something can transform out of that.
Well, we sure need to
Y'all should do
talk
it,
about
man.
it because they made money off us.
That's
Yeah, they
right.
did, man.
They
Yeah, they
made
That's
did.
money
right.
off us.
Darius, you
So
stayed 4 years. Marcus, you stayed 3 years, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
owe y'all some retro pay, man.
That's all I'm saying. Something needs to that's a conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah,
That's
man.
right. That's
Hey,
right. That's right.
they paying out everybody else. Hey, didn't
Right.
O'Bannon and them got paid?
That's
Yeah.
right.
From the
That's right.
gaming. Yep. From the gaming. Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
man.
So
Tonight's show, we launching a retro pay for college athletes that played in big time programs back in the days, man.
That would be awesome, man.
at
But
least
that
it's a conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah.
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 and Darius, man, we've been trying to get you on for the longest, man. And that guy over there, David, over there hiding behind the camera, man. Oh, I got you. And we finally got you, man. But
Yeah, y'all
better
thought
late than never.
we wasn't gonna pull it off.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
you know, Ali is a jewel, man, all the way back to when we were in school. So he's always been one in the trenches, man, to give his
That's right.
all and give his shirt to you if you need it. So it's just a jewel to have him as a brother, as a friend, and a
Yes.
person that's around and makes things happen because he makes them happen.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not a lot of brothers like that, man, in the city, anymore, too, man. Like guys that really genuinely care about each other, like I want to see you be successful. We don't have that. Everybody wants to go off and do their own thing and not help each other, So
Yes, sir.
that's what I'm all about, man. I'm trying to help as many kids as I can.
Yes, sir. And it's programs like this, man, that they're gonna reach, and they're gonna reach deep. And so you all are actually doing, those things that are needed for the players that are coming up now.
In many ways that you don't even know.
Don't even know.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. What you got there, Bob?
In a nutshell, Hoop Central, he asked, he said, Darius and Marcus, we always hear players are bigger, stronger, and faster, right? But in y'all era, it was still fast, quick, athletic players. It's more now. But do you guys think that you can hang in today's game in y'all prime?
Go ahead, Bob.
Well, I definitely think I, can, in the prime, yes, because
Come on with it.
that's how I played, really up and down the way they playing, so I would love to play in this era, but I wouldn't be shooting a lot of threes though. I'll be pulling up with those middies, man, and doing my little finger roll and just having fun, because the way this game is played now, man, I tell you, I always say this, Bob, it's just strictly entertainment. So now if you can change your mind and say, you know what, yeah, I'm hooping, I'm playing, but I'm also going to be a little, put a little showman in it, go behind my back with a couple of behind the backs between the legs, and then I'm going to pull up that midi. I'm not going to shoot no threes because I wasn't a 3-point shooter, so I'm not going to go out there and be pulling up the shots. But to answer your question, yes, I definitely think I can play in this era.
What about
And
you,
I
Darius?
agree with that. I second that and agree with that. When it comes to time and things changing in time, you definitely who's really better. And people had a tendency to lean toward who they know and who they see today. But really, is Michael Jordan better, or is, because Dr. J did a lot of what Michael Jordan was doing before Michael Jordan.
Right,
and it's
right.
it's a very similar game. And I tell people all the time, see, I was a shorty, and I saw Dr. J take off from the side.
Mm-hmm.
You see Michael Jordan come down and slam from the free throw, and I've seen Dr. J like he just leaped from the sideline and dunked the ball. And so so you're just talking about phenomenal talent in both of them. But would I put Michael Jordan over Dr. J? I don't know. I don't know that I would say that. Would I put Dr. J over Michael Jordan? They both are phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And there's room enough for both of them in the room.
That's
so,
right.
But a lot of what you saw Michael Jordan do, and a lot of people that have these conversations, they didn't get a chance to see Dr. J.
That's right.
But a lot of what Michael Jordan was doing, we saw in Dr. J. Those same type of plays, those same type of dunks. And as Magic Johnson said, I was watching Magic Johnson on YouTube, and he was talking about basically what I just said. Him taking off from the baseline, from the sideline, like he stretched from the sideline and dunked it. And Magic also said Dr. J took the ball. He was on the right side of the rim, and he stretched. He jumped in the air and stretched and laid it up on the left side. So, so when it comes to our talent, it's so deep, and there's room enough for everybody.
Yes, yes.
Basketball is a team sport. I appreciate my name. I appreciate being out here, but when it comes to basketball, I need 4 other players. It's not golf. It's not a one-man sport. And, so I'm humbled by being able to play with my players that I played with, or my teammates, people like a Sherrod Arnold, and I'm sure God is pleased with his time on this earth. But, when you got defensive players, and you got a player like Lewis Raymond that you all don't even know, and I'll tell you this real quick, the reason why I bring them up and bring Lewis Raymond up.
Hold on.
Lewis Raymond was so awesome on defense. Now imagine this. We beat Westinghouse in that 1977 championship. But, I scored 30, and people are like, oh, there, you led the scores, as Marcus raised. You led the scores at 30, yeah. But we had a defensive player, 2 defensive players named Sherrod Arnold, Lewis Raymond. Lewis Raymond had the ability to guard you on defense. As you were coming down, he could time the ball. Listen to what I'm saying. He can have his hands out, time the ball of you dribbling it. It hits the floor, and before it gets back up to your hand, he can get the ball.
Wow.
And nobody knows Lewis Raymond. I grew up with him. I've never seen nobody do this. I mean, I'm mesmerized. So now I'm trying to figure out how can I do that. Now that makes me a better defensive player. I'm like, this boy.
If it's working for me, it works for him.
He knows how to trap the ball on the floor before it gets back to your hand. That's quick.
That's quick.
And I'm telling you, I just never seen nothing like that. He's the only person I know that played basketball from the time I played, from kindergarten all the way through professional basketball. I've never seen nobody else do this. He could trap the ball on the floor or get to it before it goes
mid-dribble.
Mid-dribble.
He'll get in there.
I'm telling you.
Wow.
I'm telling you. And so when people
Bobby said that's how he was.
Huh?
Bobby Reed said that's how he was.
Okay.
I wasn't no defender like that, man. I'm like Charles Parker. You get hurt playing defense. Go ahead.
I've never seen anybody else do this, and so I wasn't as quick as him, and I learned a little bit about it, and I learned how to do it a little bit. And so at Marquette, when we had Glenn Rivers, and he was a year or so after me, or two after me, I think one. But so I kind of shook up Glenn Rivers the same way. I just couldn't do it like Lewis, but I learned how to get in, and I would get some steals. And so Glenn, he's
Doc Rivers.
Doc, he did not like playing Loyola because I would give him a fit. And I love him to death. Naturally,
right.
His history is what it is. Glenn's one of the best guards ever played the game, but
right.
I would give him a fit.
Yeah, because he did dribble that ball kind of high.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he did, and I would get in there.
And let me ask Darius one question.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You got several questions you want to.
Who defended you the best? Who did you know that you was gonna have a hard time offensively when you saw them?
And that's in high school or college?
Anyway, yeah, high school or college, yeah.
Oh, I don't. I would have to search that one. And the only reason I say that, we just played a certain style of ball under Herb Brown's coaching, and if that ever happened, I knew to get the ball to somebody. See, I was good with getting to the basket. I was pretty much, you're not going to stop me from getting to the basket. And so I'm either going to score or I'm going to get the ball to somebody. And if somebody was on the court that would stop me from shooting, I'm going to draw their man and I'm going to dish it.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it's got to be. I'll tell you, if I had to give a name that was very competitive, it would be Tyrone from Martin Luther King. Tyrone, wasn't Tyrone Davis, was it?
Bradley?
No, STV was Phillips. His name was Tyrone.
Yeah.
No, it's so funny, man. I'm listening to you talk because that's the same way I'd be thinking, right? Yeah. If someone had asked the same question, I'd be like, man, I just love playing the game. I didn't care who was guarding me and who was thinking out. I just knew what I was capable of doing. And like you just said, I'm gonna get to the basket. You're not gonna stop me. So basically what he's saying, oh man, can nobody stop me?
Yeah. and if you did stop that shot, I'm gonna dish it. Somebody gonna score.
That's right.
And that's where Loyola kind of smothered my career because my junior year, we played University of Toledo, and they were like ourselves, where they played man to man.
Okay.
And so I still hold records at Loyola. But that game, I scored 37 with 17 assists. And so they had this little Caucasian guard. Now, he couldn't do nothing with me. But I had 37 points and 17 assists, and so they had so many people sinking in the hole,
right.
To stop me from scoring. Then I just dish it out to the side, and somebody's. We had Sonny Liston was a great shooter. So we had so many people out on the sideline, and that's how I ended up with the 17 assists. So, I want to draw you, and it's a team sport. Often you have an individual sitting here in this chair, and I appreciate being here, but of course I got so much talent around me, and so even at Loyola, I figure a way to get the ball to somebody. And so, but yeah, it's just a team sport. It's not golf. And so when you got a sport like this, you got help. And so you got things that you can do. And so
there was a lot of great basketball players that came, through Loyola. Just to name a few, yourself. You had Go.
Yes,
you had Frederick Hughes. You had what's the guy? Andre Moore.
Yeah, we had Andre Moore and Andre Battle.
and Andre Battle from Simeon. So you guys were getting a lot of Chcago all state, all city basketball players, to commit to Loyola. And I'm trying to see were y'all games played? Where were y'all games played at? Because y'all didn't have that arena that you have now. Was it playing when you go upstairs? Was your games played?
Yeah. We played a number. My freshman year, we played a number of games right in our gym.
Yes.
And then we also, Gene Sullivan negotiated us to play, I think, a couple of games out of DePaul's gym.
Mm-hmm.
And we played a few games out of Northwestern's gym.
Uh-huh.
But for the most part, we played in Loyola's gym, Little Cracker Box, and always referred to the Little Cracker Box gym. But we pretty much played out of that gym. But he did, and we played a couple of games out of the arena at 47th and Halsted.
The amphitheater.
Amphitheater. We played a couple of games out of the amphitheater. So Gene Sullivan he was good with that. He would always find a gym for us to play. And so we only had so many people coming from the campus anyway. So, but we would find good gyms to play out of. And again, we played a few games at Northwestern. We made that our home court, and I think we played a couple out of DePaul. So until they built the Horizon, the All-State Arena Horizon, before they built that, and then finally when they built that, that was our home games out of the Horizon.
Isn't that crazy, man, to see the gyms now and the locker rooms now?
I tell you, Loyola right now, if that campus was built when we were there, we probably would have never left. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful campuses.
Yes,
I think it competes with any campus in the country. I mean, it'd be sitting right there on the lake.
Yes.
And now they got the facilities that they put up. They have beautiful facilities there. So, it's definitely.
You only got that endowment money.
Yeah.
They definitely got that.
Back to you all point of people attending Loyola, and I tell you, Marcus, I don't know. We need to have a conversation because I started people coming back and going to Loyola. That's what you want. I'll brag about that,
Wow.
So, hey, it's a lot of people begin to look at Loyola. In fact, Alfred Hughes told me that point blank. He said, I came to Loyola, Darius, when you came here, and that kind of brought it to his attention. And so he said he came there because I was there. So, and again, before me, look, you had Tony Parker there, man.
Tony Parker.
Oh, did.
You got Tony Parker at Loyola. You got Andre Wakefield, who ended up drafted.
That's right, Wakefield.
Oh, did. Wakefield went to the league.
So it's players like that I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and get us a shot. If I stay in Chcago, I'm going to give Loyola a shot, But there was names and players there that attracted me, and so I really wish I could have played a year, especially with Andre. Such a speedster.
Wakefield?
Wakefield, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I talk to Wakefield often, man. Wow, so you would have played with Wakefield?
Yeah, I wish I could have. He was leaving when I was coming.
Oh, he was leaving when he was coming.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he was in the 60s, Bob.
Right, yeah, I'm like, Wakefield, like 71, 72.
Yeah, he's somewhere in that area, but he was about leaving when I was coming in. So
Loyola's still the only Illinois school to win a national title.
That's right.
Yeah.
Loyola.
That's insane.
That is true.
And that was back in what year? The 50s, was that? 68?
No, 60. Yeah, it's in the 60s. I'm not sure what year it was. 67, 60. Yeah, somewhere in that area. But yeah, it's the only team. Yeah.
We gotta get that back, man. We gotta win. We gotta win another one, man.
That's true. That's true.
They're in a beautiful conference now. What conference are they in now? The Atlantic 10, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Loyola.
They join a different conference every 2 years or so.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what conference they're in now.
Yeah, I think it's the Atlantic 10 now because they were in the Missouri Valley, and I think they left that conference. But yeah, man, that's some history right there, Bob. That Loyola is the only team that won
A
out of all
national
the
title.
Illinois schools to win a national championship.
Yeah.
And they had a chance to do it again when y'all was rocking and rolling. What was that? What year was that? When they made it that run?
Oh man, about 3-4 years ago when they made it to the
No,
Final
it's at
Four.
least it's at least 7 to 10 years now. Believe it or not.
Oh,
When
it's
they were
been that
four,
long.
yeah, it's at least 7 years.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you
Wow.
because Porter
Yeah,
Moses is over at another school now. He's
Yeah,
been
he in
there.
Oklahoma now,
He's
right?
been there for like 4 or 5 years, I think.
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
I thought they could. I flew into Texas. They were at the Final Four in San
Uh-huh.
Antonio, Texas. I flew in there to see them, and I was like, God, I wish I was one of his coaches because they could have won. They could have gone to the championship. And there's a point where I really thought they should have did it, in my humble opinion, few things they could have done and they could have pulled that game off. But it was it's just been in the spotlight, probably a lot of pressure. But I thought they could have got to the championship that year. I don't know if they would have beat that team that won it. I think it was Villanova and somebody else in the
Mm-hmm.
championship. But anyway, uh, I know that Final Four game. I thought coach really could have pulled that game off. And he's doing, by the way, that coach Loyola, man, he's doing very well in Oklahoma.
Yeah, Porter
Mhm.
Moser. He didn't got a couple guards to go pro. Didn't he just have that one kid, Fierce? Gabby
Yep.
Fierce?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure, but
Yeah,
I know he
Yeah.
does. He seemed to do pretty well.
he's a hell of a coach, though.
I think he was on Jerry Majerus, Mac Jarris, coaches down in Marquette.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
I think his offense is one of the offenses that he got from working with him at Marquette.
Okay.
oh.
I'll be honest though, Doc Rivers, they used to try to run that stuff on me, man. It just didn't. it didn't work back then. I'm like, no, we're gonna take this. I'm gonna rip this one. So it's just a different game today, It's a different game, but
So do they have you involved with, like you said, with Loyola now or no? You doing
no,
anything
no.
with them? Man, they should.
Unfortunately,
They should, Darius. They should do something for you, man. Like I think you should be the ambassador of Loyola. Basketball. Um, they need to create something for some of you guys, like Frederick Hughes and yourself, who's still in Chicago doing great things. Um, I think we gonna put that out there, man. Like I think you guys do great with that too, man.
yes, sir. Thank you for that, and I appreciate you even bringing and that thought up, and perhaps it will fall in the right places. I don't know, uh, but I share those same
Hmm.
feelings and sentiment. Um,
Appreciate it.
I did, be very honest with you. I lived in Atlanta. My wife and I lived in Atlanta for about 9 years or so, 7 to 9 years, and then we moved to Columbus, Ohio. She was from Columbus, Ohio. Coming back to Chicago, no, I dropped everything and drove straight to Loyola and said, "Hey, I would like to give you my resume." Uh, so I had been in Ohio and I coached, and the year after I left, the same team that I was coaching, they won the state in Ohio. And so when I came back here, naturally I went up to my school, and hey, I like to give you all a resume and played here. And
What? And they didn't
unfortunately,
and they didn't hire you?
unfortunately, it was very cold shoulder.
Wow.
What?
I then went straight to Wendell Phillips and like, hey, I'm back. Met the coach there, and I'm back. If there's anything I can do to help, this is my school, and I would love to coach it or help or whatever, however you see fit. And so didn't get the best reception there either. But Loyola, I was very disappointed because even DePaul, when you talked about the Marquette players and you talk about the DePaul players, they take care of the guys that attended that school and carried it during that time. And so it's kind of disappointing. Loyola was not that warm in that area. Now, if I want to come to a game, they were very receptive and very considerate. And naturally, I could go to any game or be a part of this.
that doesn't make no sense.
But
to
I
me.
want it, and the only reason it really kind of cut deep is because I have ability and I know the game because of where I come from, not because of being arrogant and I'm saying I did very well. But when you learn from a coach like Herb Brown, who learned from Coach McKinley, I mean that's knowledge.
Yes.
And so I really thought that I could have helped Loyola, and I know I could have helped them. And there were certain things, even back to the Final Four, that I saw, and I just knew that if I was a part of that crew, I would have helped them that night.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't received that well in that area at Loyola. And it's kind of sad, but you got to go on. I still cheer for them. I still wish them the best, and I'll do anything that I can, to help them or push them forward or anything. But it just didn't happen. It wasn't received well, and you just go on.
Man, that gotta hurt though.
Yeah, but life goes on. You gotta just go on.
I just don't understand it though, because you have your education, you got your degree, you got your experience, from you even went coach high school, you said, and then you come back and say, you know what, whatever you guys have, I'm willing to do, whether that's me being, X and O guy for you to help you with that, or be a recruiter because I know Chcago, whatever it may be, and they couldn't find something, and that's just like me if I would go back to Illinois and say I want to be a coach, or help the program in any way I can, I probably, would get the same results, thanks for coming.
Think they give you the cold shoulder, Lynn?
Yeah, they probably would give me the cold shoulder too. But, that's why I started my own programs now. So I can control, the narrative of what, I want to see happen within my program. And if a college coach wants to recruit some of my kids, yes, I'm going to explain to them what they all about, their grades and how they doing and their character and all that. So that's why I started Liberty Edge. I said, I'm going to start something that I can control, what I want to see happen in my program, and instead of trying to be that college coach, where everybody's going to, try to get that job and you don't know if you're going to be there the next year because they might fire the whole coaching staff, or the coaching staff might say, you know what, we're going to leave Loyola. We got a better job to go, coach at, North Carolina, so it's just different, so when you start your own thing, man, you can control pretty much what you want to see.
That's
somebody just sent me this 1982 All-State class list, and
let's talk about it.
Y'all loaded. I'm just see a few names that I remember. You, J.J. Anderson, Glenn Doc Rivers, Isaiah Thomas, Raymond McCoy, Teddy Grubbs. Those are the names that I know. There's quite a few other guys on here, but man, y'all was loaded in that year, wasn't it?
Well, that was 78.
Yeah, because he said, remember, he said he came out before Isaiah.
Right, but they were all on this All-State team list, class 2A All-State.
Yeah, that was like 78 because I graduated from Loyola in 82.
Right. Okay, yeah, 78. I don't know why I got
that was like 77, 78.
Who was on that list, Bob?
Well, you got Craig Hodges on here, Mitchell J.J. Anderson, Phil Gary, Glenn Doc Rivers, of course, you, Darius Clemons, Teddy Grubbs, Mark Aguirre. I mean,
damn, that's a hell of a list.
Raymond McCoy.
Yeah.
Man, shoot. It was loaded, man. It was loaded.
Right. That was that's correct. I'm familiar with the list that you're looking at, the flyer that you're looking at.
Wow.
That was such a talented year.
Wow, 78, the year 78.
Yeah.
I was 10 years old. Liv, what was you, about 10?
I was born in 68.
Yeah, what I'm saying, we were 10 years old.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Chicago is deep. You start talking about players, and I appreciate any kind of accolades and anything anybody has to say. But Chicago is so deep.
It is, man.
One of my favorite players ever to play the game in Chicago is Ronnie Lester. I played with him growing up, and a phenomenal player. It's unfortunate he hurt his knee last year at Iowa. But I love Ronnie Lester, and it's very fortunate to know him and to play with him. But it's people like that I just cherish. And really appreciate being able to play with him, against him, and but when it comes to people like that, this city is so deep. And finally, again, we finally started breaking through the late 60s and 70s, and we started breaking through. But Chicago, the NBA players were coming out of New York and LA. Nobody wanted to mess with the mentality of Chicago. Chicago is a gangster city. So they didn't want to deal with, this gangsterism that's known in Chicago. They were concerned, afraid.
That's crazy.
Wow.
It would always take players out of the East Coast and players out of the West Coast. And so, like I said, Cassie Russell broke through. And, a couple players either with him, before him, a little bit before him, but a few players were breaking through, but it wasn't, like Chicago, it wasn't like New York and like LA. And so finally, the Mark Aguirre's and Isaiah's and Eddie Johnson's and the 70s, we would not be denied, and so things started really changing the mid 60s to early 70s. We began to break through. So Chicago is just deep with talent, just unbelievably deep with talent.
I still believe we have a lot of talent. I still believe
we do.
I think a lot of these kids can't afford to play.
Yes, sir.
They can't get to these gyms and get to these places.
But what you're talking about with the AAU, with they charging all this money to play on teams,
or even to just try out, they charge.
Well, it's interesting. That's very interesting because AAU has been around forever. It was very, very significant in the 50s and 60s. But in the 70s, you never heard nothing about no AAU in our era, our time. Everybody's Park District. Yeah, it's Park District and the Summer League. Play AAU. And so it picked back up, I think, in the mid-80s, began to pick up, going into the 90s, and then it bust through, in 2000, it just bust through and everybody's playing AAU. So I don't know a lot about AAU and didn't really play it. And so, again, we had the summer leagues. And so when you got pro players playing all summer.
You can't beat that.
A lot of players coming back home just oh my God! Yeah, so,
it didn't cost players nothing.
It didn't cost you nothing, and it's hot summer, hot competition. The gym doors open, and we inside balling. In the summer. So, but AAU just wasn't around like that, like it is now. Like you're saying, just such a I don't know. I got something. I don't accept a losing category, and so to me, mentally, is something wrong with that. Oh, we lost. Who we play next?
Yeah.
My day, we lost. You know what I'm saying? But AAU today, we lost. You go in the losers bracket.
Yeah.
You lost. You out. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, you know, but everybody's gonna play. They're gonna make sure you got 9 games in.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the hunger, the drive isn't the same. It's not there. You know. Yeah, because if we lose, we're gonna play in the losers bracket. You know.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
and so I don't know how much. I'm not fond of that at all. You know, but it is what it is. I don't know a lot about it, but it just wasn't that important during our era. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you got to get David on this, man, to get Phillips to do something special for you, and Loyola definitely should do something
Retire
special.
them jerseys. Are your jerseys retired, Darius?
That's interesting. We were talking about that tonight. Well, it looked like something was gonna happen with Loyola, but what they ultimately did, they retired the jersey from the championship team.
Oh.
So I don't know. I don't know if anything can be done or recognition, anything. It's sort of like, well, we're gonna put that jersey in there because that was one of the jerseys worn when they won it all. Whereas you can't argue with that.
Yeah,
it's a way not to put it in my name, you know. So I mean, I can't, you know, I'm not gonna raise nothing about that. But you know, I mean, it is what it is. Hey, I really feel that I earned it.
right.
But so everything is within good time and faith and, you know,
divine order, right?
Divine order, you know.
That's right.
So if it's something that should happen or could happen, maybe it will. But if it's not, you know, I enjoyed my career. I did, you know, had a tremendous amount of fun, especially at high school. I really, really appreciate being at Phillips and learning under Herb Brown. I can spend a whole show just talking about Herb Brown and who was the Simeon of the 70s, you know. And so if you're going to get to that city championship, you got to at some point come past Phillips. And I don't think you're going to make
it. Wow, man.
So I enjoyed my career and whatever recognition, you know, God is the best knower, and you know that God had to be with you to do and reach the things that I've reached, you know. And so
who is the coach at Phillips right now? David, you know?
They just changed coaches last year.
Yeah, they got a new coach now, but the other coach did win the state title.
He was assistant coach on the championship team. That's for sure.
Okay, that's good.
He's one
How
of
did
the
they do this year?
coaches.
He go by a nickname. I keep forgetting his name.
Okay.
And he did very well. He did pretty decent the past 2 years. Definitely a pretty decent, pretty good coach. So they're
but Phillips did retire your jersey though.
No, sir.
I don't think Phillips ever retired anyone's jersey.
I don't think so either.
They've never retired a jersey.
They haven't.
They can always retire the name with the school name and jersey.
So Liv, have King retired a jersey prior to you getting yours?
No.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think high schools even do that.
Well, because you got to have people that, like I had a guy, Bolo. You met Bolo.
Yeah, Bolo. Yeah, that's what I said.
Bolo advocated for that, you know. And he was, so
you know,
he'll probably go over there to Phillips to do the same thing for Darius. Like, man, y'all got to put this man jersey up there. What y'all waiting on?
It'll be a good thing, man. That's something to talk about, Liv.
Yeah, we
should do a show strictly for guys who should have their jerseys retired at their schools.
Yep. Yeah,
there's a few schools that does. In fact, Mark Aguirre's jersey was retired in the Final Four of high school.
Oh yeah.
Who was playing? I don't know. I think Simeon was playing somebody, and they actually Westinghouse retired Marcus Wyatt's jersey at the
Okay.
game. Yeah, this
Right.
year. Yeah, I was at
I
that
know that's
game.
got to be an honor.
Oh, yeah. I think
Was that his Dallas Maverick jersey?
No, his
His
high
his,
school.
his
Yeah, sure
Westinghouse.
Or Westinghouse?
His high
Oh,
school.
that's
Sure did.
dope.
I heard about that. Sure did.
Yeah, they retired his jersey, recognizing him at the. I think it was about the Final Four,
Oh, the Public League
okay.
this year.
the high school Final Four.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's what's
Yeah.
up, man.
Well,
yeah. So
we
they
need,
did.
because you
They
guys,
retired his
Sure
jersey.
did.
because man, y'all got a bunch of cats that came out of Phillips, man, and they all should be recognized to me.
I agree.
And having you guys come back, to a game is going to bring back the fans that was watching you guys play,
Yes, sir.
and bring that, that togetherness, man. And that's one thing I keep saying I don't like, like even King sometimes. I'm like, man, it's a lot of great basketball players. Yes, it's an honor for me to have my jersey retired, but Ephraim Winters is not here. He
That's
should
right.
be here. He should be here to celebrate his jersey being retired. And I'm a firm believer, man. You give people their roses while they still here.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
So I think Phillips should just, do what they supposed to. I mean, and get these jerseys and people in these Hall of Fame, so they family can enjoy it. Like, man, my brother or my husband, he was somebody walking through these hallways, and people appreciated the things that he did and accomplished. Put the jersey up there, man.
Marcus, you're right. You're so right. And that I made that exact statement to the assistant principal. I was like, we walk these halls. You're from another school, but we walk these halls, and so. But I made that exact comment that you just made that these halls are very special to a lot of people that come over here.
That's right.
And you may not have walked these halls, but when certain people come over here, you have to give them a certain amount of just respect, man. Don't have to be no accolades or anything, but if you give them a certain amount of respect, they just remember being in these halls. And so I agree with that 1,000%.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to make that happen, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bobby, you remember we had Marty on the show. You remember that, right?
Marty Murray?
Yeah.
I don't think we had Marty Murray on. I don't remember talking to Marty, man.
Remember
bow-legged referee Marty? They played basketball.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't remember him on here, Liv.
No, we didn't have Marty. We had the other. What was the other guy that played at Phillips though? And he's from California. He live in Fresno, California.
Oh, that's Tyrone Bradley.
Bradley.
Yeah.
He's about. Is he your time, Marcus?
No,
He's
older.
79. Okay, so he's right after me because he's right after me.
Yeah.
So he didn't touch you,
no.
Marcus. He didn't touch you at all.
No.
Yeah, but Tyrone, beautiful spirit. He's just a beautiful spirit.
Yeah, we did.
Beautiful player that's very talented. But again, when it comes to Chicago, you start bringing up people, man. It's widespread. It's so deep,
Yeah.
But like you all are saying, Marty Murray, JoJo is like he's a three-sport letterman.
Was he all state? He was all state in 3 sports, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was. He was a heck of a baseball player, heck of a football player, and a heck of a basketball player. So not have somebody like a Marty Murray jersey retired. I don't know how you do that.
You're right.
I really, and that's why I keep saying I appreciate what you all say about me, but when you got a Marty Murray, man, I mean, he led all 3 sports.
Wow.
He led in football. He was a leader in football. He was a leader in baseball. And he was a leader on our basketball team.
And his jersey
not be retired. And so
somebody
Marty
not doing their job.
And unfortunately, Larry has passed away. May God be pleased with him. But Larry Williams also, man. I mean, that was nothing nobody could do to Larry. you know, and that's how we end up winning the state championship. You got a Marty Murray, Larry Williams, but I tell you all, in that same circle, that same vein, is a brother by the name of Mango Klein, and you all don't even know him.
No,
I
He's
heard
like
that name.
he's a
Folk legend.
well, he's a playground legend. You know, he's your Johnny Mundane from the West Side. But Mango Klein, put it this way, Mango Klein was rated one of the best guards in the city of Chicago as a freshman, playing
Wow.
against playing against the Mo Cheeks and the Ricky Green over at Hearst. I mean,
Mango.
he
Man.
destroyed he destroyed Ricky Green over at Hearst. But you don't even know him. You know, he ended up
No.
unfortunately not finishing school. But I mean, that's who taught us in the playground. And I'm telling you, Mango is like a Ronnie Lester or Billy Harris. You know, he's what nobody knows him. You know, it's like it's a lot of names of Chicago is as deep of names not making it through because they weren't there or didn't complete or go through the high school or the sport. Chicago got a whole list of names. You know, again, Money, Johnny Mundane, they're just legends. You know, and so, but then we got a lot of other players you don't talk about. James Jackson from the West Side, Crane. You know, you got James Jackson,
James Jackson.
the center that went pro, that played with Boston from the West Side.
Mm.
The center that played with Boston. He won a championship with Boston.
He won 2 titles. He won 2 rings with Boston from Crane High School, right?
Yeah, what's his name?
Yeah. You know what? Somebody called me this morning, early yesterday, and told me I slipped my mind. I was talking to Derek Young about him. Derek Young was telling me about him because he's from Chinese Jersey.
Phenomenal player. But you know, it's so that's what I said.
I bet you Tree will know him.
Oh, Trino, it's escaping my mind. In fact, I was watching television and he made a movie. He was in a movie as himself.
Huh.
Wow.
And I was just watching him about a week ago. And his name escapes me though. But he's from the West Side and he won a championship with Boston. But you know, it's Chicago, as I tell you, it's deep. It's deep in this history.
Wow. I'm trying to think of who that is.
I mean, Derek Young was just telling me about him.
He's an older player?
Older guy, yeah.
Yeah, he's actually before me.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm about to look him up. But awesome player, and he was a center. In fact, there was some controversy recently about him with this. What do you all think about the gambling thing now?
Huh. Yeah, man. They open up.
It's gotten out of control, man.
It's only gonna get worse.
And because you got
Garrett.
That's his name?
Oh,
I think his last name is Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Garrett from the West Side. What's his first name?
Tall, skinny, Josh.
Yeah, Garrett. Awesome player. Unbelievable player.
I'm trying to see.
He didn't. I don't think he finished that Crane though.
Oh, he did.
I think he transferred out of Crane.
Was his last name Bryant?
Yeah.
No, you talking about
here it is.
He didn't stay at Crane.
Because I see a guy named Emmett Bryant.
No, it's Garrett.
Okay.
Gonna be Garrett, that's for sure. What's the first name of Garrett? Both players from the West Side of Chicago.
Somebody put up Kevin Garnett. No, it's not Kevin Garnett, y'all.
Kevin Garnett with the fairy.
Garnett.
That's what you're
Garnett. That's what I was talking about.
Right, he
Kevin
didn't stay.
Garnett?
He didn't stay at Crane.
Kevin Garnett?
Yeah,
Kevin Garnett. That's him.
yeah, he didn't stay at Crane.
Kevin Garnett.
I didn't even know he went to Crane.
Yeah,
Kevin Garnett
Yeah,
with
he's
the
from
Farragut,
West
didn't
Side
he?
Chicago. But he's a silent player.
but he transferred out of Crane. He didn't stay at Crane.
He didn't stay at Crane. He surely did. He's just one of those silent players that was awesome from the West Side. That's what I say. Chicago is deep. It cuts very deep when it comes to talent and time periods and where people are and every year I went about 2 maybe 3 years ago where all of the players come together every summer and they have a whole day of coming together where they have a luncheon.
The legends.
The legends, yeah.
Bobby went to that before.
Huh?
Did you go to that, Bobby, before?
Yeah, I've been to that. Yeah, I've been to that legend. Where they go have breakfast at that hall.
Yes.
Yeah.
I went
Was it like twice a month?
And I heard everybody comes to that.
Oh,
Yeah.
unbelievable! That's one of the places you can go, and a whole slew of information just opens up just with who comes to that. Because you have so many players that like I'm telling you about Mango Klein. Like you have
What's his name?
players.
Emmett Bryant that played for Boston. Emmett Bryant.
That's what I tell you. That's what I said, Bob. I already said that name.
Oh, okay. Because he showed just sent me that.
Yeah, that's what I said at first, Emmett Bryant, but
Okay.
he said it wasn't him. He said it was Kevin Garnett, but Kevin Garnett is younger than us.
No, this guy right here.
Kevin Garnett is who I was talking about.
Oh, okay. KG, who's you talking about? Okay.
Yeah, KG. It was Kevin Garnett. Yeah, and that's one of our pro players from Chicago. We don't talk about him a lot, but very successful, very very huge in the game. On the West Side. But Kevin Garnett, that's who I was talking about.
Well, Darius, a lot of people don't claim him. They say he's from South Carolina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they said they don't claim him as a Chicago, but the West Side claims him.
Right.
He came.
Yeah, I didn't know that part. I didn't know that. I'm glad you mentioned that. I never knew that.
Yeah, no, he came from South Carolina. He was good friend. He met Ronnie Fields and his coach, and somehow he ended up in Chicago on the West Side playing.
Doing AAU, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
That changed the course of his career.
Yeah.
That's a piece I never knew that.
Yeah. No, he's from South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I knew him from the West Side, tearing up the floors.
Oh, because he was claiming it. And the West Side, they cuffed him. They cuffed him and put him up under their wing, And a hell of a player. Like you said, he was a hell of a player.
Yeah. Chicago is deep with us. It's totally deep.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, I was watching him, him and Ronnie Fields. Ronnie Fields was super athletic, man. If he never got in that car accident, man, we never would have known what he would have became. He would have became something real special.
He was on his way. He was on his way there. No question.
Yeah, so that's why we got to keep giving Chicago. That's why we came up with this All Ball Chicago too, to get people like yourself to come on and talk about, your upbringing and how you got involved with the game, because a lot of times people just forget. Man, he hooped. What? He don't even he hooped. Yeah, man, he hooped. He hooped. Yeah, we hooped, man. And that's why we do this. We had Ronnie Lester on the show.
Did you really?
Yeah, Ronnie came on the show, man. We didn't have some bangers that came on, man. Like, man, you guys come on and talk and just I tell them all the time, man, just talk about your life, man. We ain't about no negativity. We ain't trying to find no dirt on you. Like most people try to find dirt on people, and nah, man, we ain't all about that. We just want to have some fun, share your story, man, and then we get up out of here.
Man, and we learned some interesting stuff tonight, though, man.
Yeah, man. We got to get him.
I can't wait to chop this reel up.
We got to get you definitely.
Let's get him on with Ronnie Lester.
Yeah, we got to. Yeah, that'll be nice.
Whammy.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Well, that's my man. I love Ronnie Lester's Santo. That's what
Santo.
That's what I call him, Santo. But
yeah.
He's a baseball player also.
Yep.
Wow.
That's where he got Santo from,
Yeah, but, Bo Rap used to tell us all them stories, man.
Yeah.
We
haven't even brought up Sonny Parker.
Yep.
Sonny, I work with Sonny Saturdays with a lot of the children today.
Oh, beautiful.
From anywhere from kindergarten all the way up to high school, but we're in Washington Park on Saturdays, and so I get a chance to work under him. But you got Sonny Parker, you got Tony Parker, you got so many people, man.
Bo Ellis, we can go on.
Yeah, Bo,
Yeah.
Yes, I that's what I tell people when they always, Darius, you on my list. I'm like, you can put me on your list if you want to. I got a list too. My list starts with Billy Harris.
Billy the
Talk
Kid.
about this basketball. You better bring up Billy Harris, man. Because that's just a legend of Chicago.
Man, I hope and pray that somebody come out with a documentary on Chicago, the history of Chicago basketball, man. I hope and pray that somebody do that.
We gonna do it. What do you mean?
Right, Marcus, you ain't got to wait. You ain't got to wait for nobody to do it.
Let's do it. Let's do
man.
it. Let's do it, man. Let's do it, man. Let's do it because the history is so. I even think, man, they should come up with a museum. A CPS.
Yeah. I agree with that.
High school sports. No, not just basketball, because like you said, there was a lot of great baseball players that came out of Chicago that don't get recognition too.
That's true.
So I think we should do a Chicago public school museum just of sports, man. And watch how many people that would be in there.
Maybe Barack will put part set aside in his museum. In his new library. No, it's not a library. It's called.
What is it called?
What is it called? David Ali, it's not a library. They couldn't call it a library. They called it something else.
They couldn't call it a library?
It's a museum. It's a museum.
No, they gave it another name.
Oh, wow.
Center. It's a center. The Barack Obama Center.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Why they couldn't call it a
library? I don't know. I forgot what the logistics was behind it.
If I could add, it looks to be when I drive by there, I think they went a little bit further than what your normal libraries offer and have.
Oh.
So
they're supposed to have a really nice gym.
Is a gym there? I know it's a gym. But then I've heard something up in the area of it's going to be like some animals over there, something like a little
what?
like a little zoo part of it, and
wow,
they got a lot of things they kind of mixed in to have over there. So
just a library.
Yeah, it's definitely more than just a library, but get ready to open up. But it's definitely when you look at it, it's like what is going on in there? So they have many different compartments and a few buildings where that different things are going to be happening there. So
because they got a production company, so they're going to be doing a lot of production over there.
Okay,
Michelle and Barack. So yeah, man, we're gonna get in with them too, y'all. We coming, Barack.
Yeah, that's the documentary right there. You say got a production company.
Wow.
Yeah, let's talk. Let's talk. Let's get Barack on the show, man. Let's get him on.
Barack, so yeah, he'll probably love that idea, man.
Yeah, let's get him on.
And he'll give you the time.
Larry, they said, let's get him on. Larry Harper.
One of Phillips'
greatest. Larry Harper is one of Phillips' greatest. Who is that?
Larry Harper. I'm trying to place him.
What year was Larry Harper, Benjamin?
Benjamin Davis. What
I
year?
do
What
know, I
year?
do know that name, but he wasn't my time.
Larry Harper, one of Phillips' greatest.
I think he's probably the 60s.
Oh, okay.
I think he's probably 60s. He's got to be before me. But I do remember that name. I do remember that name, Larry Harper.
Larry Harper. Yeah, I'm trying to. Larry Harper. Is he a baseball player, I wonder? Because I don't remember a basketball player named Larry Harper, but
yeah. Well, I tell you, one of back to Marty Murray. You know, he had a brother that his brother Larry played. Larry Murray played professional baseball from Phillips.
Wow.
You know, and so we definitely have to do try to find a good core group that has the time to uncover some of these people and things that were done at Phillips. But there's a lot. There's a lot there that hasn't been let out yet. That definitely would do justice by Phillips to let some of this talent out and recognize some of it. He's another one. Larry Harper, Pruitt. Pruitt was a professional football player, and
so we got some things to do, Bob. You got to take care.
We got to put Chris Hinton after me. You know, Chris Hinton played pro football. One of the best linemen.
Should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, one of the best linemen.
Definitely should be in the Hall of Fame, NFL Hall of Fame.
Did very well in the NFL. Yeah.
I think he was 8
Played at Northwestern University and drafted in the pros. He was one of the best linemen in the pros.
Wow.
Chris Hinton.
He was eight Pro Bowls.
What?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Chris Hinton. Got to have him on also.
Wow.
And he played basketball. He played basketball.
He did. Yeah.
Okay. He said the guy's name is Emmett Bryant from Crane. They won the 2 titles in Boston.
No, he said he was talking about Kevin Garnett.
But I know he talking about KG.
Kevin Garnett.
I know he talking about Kevin Garnett, but he was talking about it was a little known guy that we didn't know about that won those 2 titles in Boston back in the day.
Right.
So, yeah, Chicago was huge.
Right. He was a guard. Emmett was a guard.
Okay.
Yeah.
I tell you, when you start talking legends and players, you can be here a week. You know, when you start recognizing people, and it runs deep. Chicago is a deep city, and you know, I think for those years, you know, back in the 60s, 50s, 60s, it was a while before Chicago bust through. You know, and finally when the 70s rolled around and the Isaiahs and Mark McGuire's and Eddie Johnsons and people started busting through, you know, Chicago started getting put on the map and made. But it's a serious history here. You know, it's a serious history here. And I think we need to look deep into the fact that Chicago was you know, when you say Chicago around the country and throughout America, say, well, I'm going to Chicago, they'll do this. So the Al Capone, see, because before sports, Chicago was known for gangsterism. It was named for Al. It was known for Al Capone. You know, it was a while before a lot of these cities would accept and deal with, because when you talk about Chicago, you got to bring that up. And so a lot of these other cities around America, they didn't want to deal with the Chicago mentality. They didn't want to deal with, you know, the gangsters of that time, and, you know, just a little concern with dealing with the men from Chicago because it was a gangster town, you know. And so they didn't know, and they weren't ready for that toward the NBA, you know, like, now Chicago's a little hard. Those are gangsters, you know. So it took a while before I think things will loosen up when you can break through, which fed into Isaiah. And I want to tell Michael Jordan, this brother He's one of the most gentle spirits I know. Isaiah, I love this
Right.
brother.
Right.
Beautiful spirit, beautiful brother. Give you the shirt off his back in a second.
Right.
And when it
Right.
comes to somebody like Isaiah, who's a no-nonsense person, he's from the West Side. You know, he couldn't be a soft person living on the West Side.
That's
So,
right.
you know, and he's got a brother who has a history. You know, we don't even want to talk about his brother. You know, in
Yeah.
terms of, you know, Isaiah's
Yeah.
brother wasn't no joke. You know, and so
Yes.
he's one of those people from, you know, the so-called quote streets. You know, and so
Yep.
with his life and the things that he did in his life, he's got a little brother Isaiah he's connected to. But you know, this is what we come from. And so
Yeah.
there was that concern about, are we really going to let Chcago into the NBA like that? So talent-wise, they couldn't keep us out, you know. And so when it
They
came time for, you know, a lot of us, a lot of the players to go into the NBA, they could not hold us. They naturally couldn't keep us out, but there was always a concern. But I would love to be able to sit and talk with Michael Jordan along with Isaiah and say, hey man, this is our history. You
Right.
know, he didn't shake your hand because when we played in Chicago, we wasn't shaking hands, man.
Right.
So it wasn't personal. It's just not what we did. You know, we out to get to some blood here, you know, bust somebody's nose and, you know, bust somebody's lip, you know, and so, and again, we go right and have they go have their beer. I'm not a drinker, but, you know, they'll go have their beer after busting each other's lip. Didn't mean nothing that
Exactly.
personal. You know, didn't
Put
mean
your hand
we
on your
didn't
lip.
love each other or care about each other. But we definitely, you come on my court, I'm going to bust your lip, you know. You gonna get hit in the face. That's just how it is, you know.
Yep.
Well, I just thought I really would have loved to put that piece in there. It might not have made no difference with Michael Jordan, but I just would have loved to have that piece put in there between Michael and Isaiah to give a little light as to his competitiveness, you know, and that competitiveness wasn't personal. Not that he had a problem with you and just didn't want to shake your hand. That's what we did in Chicago. The hell with your hand. I don't want to reach hands at you. And I'm South Side and you West Side. Man,
Right.
please.
Right. So Darius, before we get up out of here, man, I want to say one more thing. Because you say you're doing something with Sonny. How could kids, you know, if they don't know about the program, how could they find more information about that program? What is the name of it? Sonny Parker's program that's teaching these youngsters basketball.
Well, that's what it's called, Sonny Parker's camp.
Youth basketball.
And anybody is welcome. Anybody is welcome. We have two sides to that facility. So even the younger children, actually at age 5 and 6 or 7 years old, they're on the other side of the second gym where they are playing together as, you know, youngsters. But all of your high school, some of your top players, and also females. We have a couple of females there that are developing, and one.
Where's it located?
Washington Park, right there.
Washington Park.
In King Drive. Yeah.
Okay.
So usually we get started about 9:15, 9:30 till 11:30 for a couple of hours. And so, you know, you got some of your up and coming players that come there for some training.
Okay.
Sonny just we'll start a whole nother conversation. He's so giving, you know, and don't look for nothing, for no type of payment. This is all his heart. And so all of us, same way, we have to follow his lead. And so we all are volunteering our time, and the future looks good because we have some really good players that are up and coming, and players that come there that are learning a lot. And
well, next time I'm in Chicago, I'm coming through there. Next time I'm in Chicago, I'm gonna stop by there, man, because I would love to see this.
Oh, you have to, and I would definitely tell Sonny that I was a part of this show and to expect you. He would
Yes.
love to have you there, and but sometimes he is traveling, so he may, and I'll make sure I leave my number and get yours,
Yeah.
Marcus.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but he does still move around the country, and he does a lot in California, so. A lot of times he's out to California, and those he has working with him work there. But you can call Washington Park if nothing else, and
Uh-huh.
get any further information. But also, I'm gonna see if there should be a number that he has. I'm sure, but I don't have it here. But
Marcus probably got Sonny. You got his number.
Yeah, I
Don't
got Sonny's. Yeah, I got Sonny's number. Because he was on our show too. So, but he didn't.
you?
He
Yeah.
didn't talk. That's what he said. He's so humble. He didn't
very
even talk
humble,
about it.
brother.
He didn't talk about
Very.
his. He didn't even talk about his stuff. We had him and the Jabari on.
Yeah.
So they
Oh, did
was
you?
yeah
Okay.
they was talking, man. Just it was a good father and son duo. And
Oh, that's awesome.
Sonny said, "I can't work this, man. I had to wait on Jabari to come and get me on the on the show."
But like you said, he's so humble. I come to the gym and Sonny would tell the parents, the audience, that's Darius Clemons, and he did this and
Right.
he did that, and I'm like, I hear Sonny spent 14, 15 years in the NBA telling somebody about me.
Right.
I didn't play in the NBA 1 year, but you would think that I played in the NBA 20 years. He's so
That's
humble.
respect.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I'm like, wow, just naturally my heart pumps and breaks through my chest, and I'm like, wow, he's standing there bragging to the parents about me, and he played 14, 15 years in the league, So,
Well,
very humble brother.
Darius, you definitely. I'm gonna say this. You definitely on All Ball Chicago's all time Hall of Fame list because we've been on this thing for 2 hours.
Yeah, that's what
And
somebody
Oh,
just
really?
said.
yeah,
Is that a record?
we ain't never been on the show for 2 hours.
We on
Man.
that's three, Liv. We
Shooter,
almost at
huh?
three.
We almost at 3.
We almost
So
at three.
So we just talking at the park or at the at the cigar bar. We just talking, man, having a good old time. But then time yeah, moves pretty fast. I know I have to go because I do have to do something, man. My wife gonna be coming in here pretty soon. Talking about what are you doing? What are you talking about? So I definitely got it. I got to ride. I got to get out of here, man.
But
And Bob,
Liv, before we get out of here, man, we gotta get a commitment from Darius and them again. Can we get some of him and some of the legends on from Phillips that he played with?
that would probably have to go through David again, man.
Yeah,
David,
man.
man, we could get called. We could get called on with him. Go on with him.
Yeah, Carl Ghosted. Yeah,
and Bernard is he still in Chicago? Bernard?
No, Bernard's in New York. But Gogo was gonna
we
come
can send him the link. You can send him the
Gogo
link. He
was
can
gonna
hop
come
on
over tonight.
He
But
was.
Gogo was gonna come over tonight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's try to do that, man, because I think we need to talk more about this jersey, retirement for Go for you.
For all the guys y'all talked about, and don't forget y'all college retro paychecks. Don't forget about the college retro,
right? Well, again, when you say that, I gotta say, and not being arrogant, very humble, I did start the reactivation of players going to Loyola, especially Chicago. So along with what you're saying, I definitely know that we sparked that interest, and
That's
so
good.
it's something I think that should be a conversation somewhere.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Marcus.
Yeah, that's what I said, man. They should make you an ambassador, man, of Loyola basketball, man. They can create that job. They definitely can create that job.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anything you want to say before we get up out of here, man?
Well, I'm just humbled by you all's spirit and making this happen. But the thing again, I point out, Chicago is so rich. it's so many players, you know, and I appreciate the acknowledgement of myself. But you know, there's people that I got to throw Billy Harris' name out there. I got to throw Ronnie Lester name out there, and so many others. You know, I have a biological brother, Michael Clemons, one of the top players for football in Chicago. And same thing, you know, he played football along with Marty Murray, and they won a city championship. And so when you got players at Phillips like Marty Murray, my brother Michael Clemens, it's just so many names. And when you talk about greatest, best list, I tell you, I'm just humbled by the talent of you know so many players, and your Billy Harris, and you know that's the first name that's going to come out of my mouth. You know, and so you know we have to try to really get all this information and put it together and see where it goes, because it is rich, you know, in terms of what Chicago, what's come out of Chicago, and you know this city, very unique.
No doubt.
So, but thank you all for thinking about
you.
me, recognizing me, having me. But I try to be a humble brother that, you know, basketball is a team sport. You know, my name may be out there, but I couldn't have done it without Sherrod Arnold. You know, may God be pleased with him. I know he has been pleased with his time among us. But Sherrod Arnold and, you know, Louis Raymond, William Smith, and you know, Larry Williams. I mean, I could sit here forever. Start this conversation all over again.
Yeah.
So, there's so many names and so many people deserve it.
Yes.
And I appreciate you all just acknowledging my little input that has been given.
And I know you say Chicago gangster, man, but I'm gonna say this, man. I love you, bro. I love you, man.
I love you more.
I
appreciate that.
All right, bro.
All right,
Bob,
Darius, man.
do your outro, Bob.
Man, we're going to get Darius Clemons this role. This is one of the greatest of all time, man. Phillips High School legend, Loyola legend. Give it up to Darius Clemons, man. It's your boy Bobby Reed, Marcus Liberty. We finna get up out of here, Marcus. It's our time, baby.
Peace, man.
Peace.